Hey everyone, welcome to let's just call this the first episode of the Kryjer Knowledge Podcast. It's been a while since I've come on here and talk sports and everything that's going on. Um, Obviously, the Phillies are in the World Series facing the Houston Astros. They're moving on to Game 3 at the bank, so I'm excited for that. Um, but I want to start off talking about the World Series and everything that's gone on up until this point. Listen, am I upset that the Phillies lost last night? Yes. I would have loved to see them come back again for the second night in a row, but it's tough. Valdez has been a stud for the Astros all year. He broke a record this year for the most quality outings in a season in a row, which is incredible. And yeah, he was on it from the jump last night. He was amazing. His curveball was working so effectively. I think he threw 104 pitches and like 46 of them were curveballs, just to give you an idea. And the Phillies hitters just could not hit it. Yes, I know there's been talk about whether he had something on his hand or not, but the truth is he was just better than us last night, and the better team won last night. But we got to look on the bright side. The Phillies came away with a split against an Astros team that's been the best in the league all year. To come away with home field advantage is huge for this World Series. And the bank has been rocking all postseason long. The Phillies are obviously undefeated at home. And I think that they're going to do well. Truthfully, I think that they win tomorrow. Game 3, I know Noah Syndergaard is on the bump. Um, but the Phillies, their confidence at home has really helped them. Even if they get down, we saw in that Padres game when they were losing, they came right back, bounced back, and won that game. I think the same thing's going to happen. The Astros are going to start off hot. They're going to start off hot, maybe get a run or two on the board. But I think that the Phillies' offense will get them right back into this game. And I do think the Phillies will come away with a win tomorrow night. One thing I am concerned about moving forward in this World Series is Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. Those two guys are our aces. They've been great for us all year. They've even been great in the postseason, but they can't let up 5 runs each outing, or we'll be in trouble. I think right now, how it's lining up, Aaron Nola will start Game 5 for us, and I think that will be big for Aaron Nola because he's pitched a lot on the road this postseason. So getting him in a home atmosphere at the bank, I think that will help his confidence and really help him when he's out on the mound. But when our two guys are going, we need them to keep the game as close as possible. We can't be giving up these big leads with those guys on the mound because that will hurt for sure. I'm not sure if Zach Wheeler's hurt or not. I know he took a line drive off his leg the last time he was pitching, but his velocity was down. And yeah, I mean, he was runner up for the Cy Young last year. He was great again this year. I know he's had some injuries this year that have kept him out of the season for a little bit, but I don't want the World Series to get to a Game 6. I hope that the Phillies can finish it off in 5. But if it does get to Game 6, I do trust Zach. I think he'll come back a little bit healthier from his leg injury, and I think he'll be okay. But yeah, we got to wait and see. I know Noah Syndergaard starting Game 3, Ranger Suarez for Game 4. I think that the Astros will win one game at Citizens Bank Park. I'm sorry to say, I just think it's going to happen. They're just too good of a team. But I think the Phillies take 2 of 3 and head back to Houston with a lot of confidence and a 3-2 series lead. I was watching the game last night, and you're sitting down, you're watching it on the couch, and you're just hoping that they could pull off that comeback win. And as the game's going on, it's seeming more and more unlikely. But when Schwarber stepped up to the plate and he hit that ball foul, I mean, that was as close to a foul ball or as close to a home run as it could possibly get. I mean, I'm standing there, I'm like, oh my gosh, like inches. He missed it by inches. And if he hit that home run, I think the Phillies would have come back. They would have been down 5-3 with nobody out. Rhys Hoskins coming up. But and then the following pitch for Kyle Schwarber to literally hit the warning track, like the end of the warning track right before the fence. I've never seen anything like that in my life where a player's gotten so close on back-to-back pitches to hitting a home run and he didn't hit a home run. But that's just baseball, and sometimes that happens. I do think Kyle Schwarber will get the bank rocking on Monday with a big home run. I don't know if it's going to be like a 2-run blast, a grand slam. I'm not sure, but count on Schwarber Fest, Hoagie Fest to come away with a big home run on Monday night. And yeah, Harper obviously has been a stud for us all postseason long. Ever since he signed a contract with the Phillies, he's been our leader, our franchise player, and he set a Phillies record this postseason, 11 straight games with a hit. That's incredible, especially when you look up the teams that we have faced, the pitching he's had to go against. To come away with a hit in 11 straight games is awesome. And obviously, and unfortunately, that streak ended last night. But look for Harper to pick up right where he left off and get a big hit in the game tomorrow. Harper has always stepped up at home. He's come away with some clutch moments. Obviously, the home run against the Padres, that grand slam a couple years ago against the Chicago Cubs. He had a walk-off double against Kenley Jansen against the Dodgers 2 years ago. So Harper always comes up in the clutch, especially at home. So look for him to get a big-time hit tomorrow night. These episodes are going to be quick for Kryjer Knowledge. These are going to be 10, 15-minute episodes. I just want to talk about recaps for sports games and anything else that's going on in my life. I want to be able to talk to you guys and relate with you guys on certain topics. The Phillies right now is a big topic in my life, and a lot of people that I know. I'm always getting texts about the games and, comments here and there, and it's awesome. So I want to come on this podcast and talk about that. My last thing I'm going to say about the Phillies is I trust Rob Thompson with every single move that he makes. I think Sosa was a huge pickup for the Phillies as a utility player. He could play shortstop. He could play third base. He could probably play the outfield. And he's had some pretty good at-bats so far in the postseason. But no matter if it's a righty or a lefty, I think Bryson Stott just has to be in that lineup every single night. His at-bats are so key to this Phillies lineup, especially because he's batting at the bottom of the order. I mean, it seems like every single time he has a 10-pitch at-bat where he's just fouling pitches off, fastball, curveball, fouling it off, then he gets a walk or he comes away with a big RBI double. So I think that Bryson Stott going forward for the rest of this World Series needs to be in the lineup, whether there's a lefty in there or a righty. I want to finish this episode off with a couple trivia questions. Obviously, I'm a big trivia guy, and with it being the World Series, we're going to do a couple World Series trivia questions. If you guys haven't already, check out my TikTok. I posted about 5 or 6 trivia questions on there. It's been a lot of fun. People commenting back and forth. Here's a question that involves the 1968 World Series. So going back a little bit, what player tied his own record by stealing 7 bases in the World Series? The other night, Kyle Schwarber had a stolen bag in Game 1, and he actually has the most stolen bases in the postseason right now. So I wanted to ask a trivia question that involves stealing bases. So I'll repeat that. What player tied his own record stealing 7 bases in the 1968 World Series? This is a good one. I asked this question to my grandfather yesterday, and he was able to get it. To give you guys a hint, this player set the stolen base record in the World Series in 1967. All right. So he set the record in 1967, and then he followed it up by tying it in 1968. Once again, what player tied his own record by stealing 7 bases in the 1968 World Series? All right. On to the next one. Just 2 trivia questions for this episode. Keep it simple. Keep it short. This also involves the number 7. What player set a record by pitching in 7 consecutive games in the 1973 World Series? In 1973, the World Series won 7 games, and this pitcher had an appearance in every single game. Once again, what player set a record by pitching in 7 games of the 1973 World Series? That's pretty incredible when you think about it, because these hitters are so talented and they know how to time pitchers. They pick up on what pitches that they throw. And to come in there as a pitcher and throw 7 games against the same hitters, eventually you would think that the hitters are just going to start getting hits off of them because they've seen the pitcher so often. But to come in 7 straight games and get the job done is incredible. Just to repeat one final time, what player set a record by pitching in 7 games of the 1973 World Series? I remember a couple years ago when the San Francisco Giants were really good, and is when they won like a World Series. It almost seemed like every other year. They won like 3 World Series with that dynasty that they had. Madison Bumgarner, he was the best pitcher on that team, and I remember in the World Series against the Kansas City Royals, I think he appeared like for 4 games, and he was unhittable that series. So just to think about pitching in 7 games is just incredible. And yeah, I remember watching that World Series at home and seeing Madison Bumgarner come in to close it out in Game 7 against the Royals. That was something that I'll never forget. That was an all-time moment in baseball history, and hopefully the Phillies can come away with more all-time moments in World Series history. Their Game 1 comeback was the 2nd largest comeback in World Series history, so hopefully they can break some more records moving forward. My prediction for the rest of this World Series: I think that the Phillies take Game 3. I think that they take Game 4, and I think that they lose Game 5. I think Game 5 is going to be a real close one. Like I said, I think Aaron Nola is going to be on the mound, but I do expect the Astros to come away with 1 win when we're at Citizens Bank Park. But I do predict the Phillies winning the World Series and closing it out in Houston in Game 6. I don't feel comfortable getting this World Series to a Game 7. That would not be good. But I do think the Phillies are going to close it out in 6 games. So let's go Phils. Let's get the job done. And here we go. Stay tuned. Come on.